So this video right here is going to be all drone video stuff and all voiceover on the whole thing. This cutover right here that we're flying over, we did not cut it. This happens to be pretty close to my house, within a mile and a half of driving distance. And y'all have seen a lot of video from this piece of property right here. What it is a guy, which is a good friend of mine, we're flying straight into his place right now where the standing timber is. And they're cutting all this timber kind of around him right now. So he wanted me to come over there and fly it and see what it looked like, since the timber's been about halfway cut now, and they still like a good bit. Y'all have seen several videos of when I've been down in here bush hogging and disking and all that good stuff like that from this exact area right here, and you probably don't even realize it. But this is, of course, filmed last week, is after leaves are really coming off the trees really good now. We had our first frost at the first of the month of November, and so you can kind of see down in things pretty good. We've had a ton of rain by this point too also, and so you're going to get to see here in just a little bit, you're going to start seeing water reflect up from just the standing water that's all around in this bottom. This is we're kind of in some hills right now, not bad hills, but as we turn to the left here in just a second, like we're doing, you can start seeing the water pick up right there. What has happened, there's a creek that runs down through here called Magby Creek, and the beavers have gotten in here. You can see off to the right there, all that is beavers, where beavers have backed all that up right there and have just made a horrendous mess down in there. I've helped fight beavers down in there, bust dams, dig dams out, dig logs out. I've cut logs out with chainsaw, had the bulldozer down there, everything. You can see this is just a huge area that's all flooded right there. You can see all the water reflecting. Just it's no telling how many acres that it is down here that the beavers have kind of messed up. This is kind of, as we're flying along, I kind of tell you a story right almost about where we're at right now, coming back into these green pine tops. I can actually hunt this too, and back in probably about 1997 or 98, I got the bright idea I was going to come down there. It was on a Friday afternoon, and we got done early and we were moving, and I was going to haul the bulldozer over there, and I was going to push a lane out kind of where the beavers are right there. It had been bad dry for a long time. It may have even been about year 2000. We'd had just an incredible amount of dry summer. So I hauled the dozer over there, unloaded it, took off down in there. The guy that owns the place met me down there, and I commenced to head down there and take off pushing, and I didn't no more get in there good, and I sunk the dozer. I mean, and it had been dry forever in the whole summer, but it wasn't dry down there. I mean, I didn't even get in it good, and I done stuck that dozer. So turned around, ran and got a skidder right quick. Gonna pull the dozer out, and keep in mind this is a Friday afternoon. We're trying to move, and I was going to run over there and knock this thing out real quick. And I got down there with the skidder, got it stuck too. So now not only do we got the bulldozer stuck, but we got I had two machines stuck within a matter of just a blink of an eye. So then we had to turn around and go get one more machine, one more skidder. So we brought the third machine over there. We ended up pulling the skidder out and then pulling the dozer out too. So man, that was a bad Friday. That was not a good Friday. There were several people who were not very happy with me that day, all because of a deer. But you can kind of see right here straight ahead, kind of the right over here. They've cut everything. You can see this perfect point of this square right here where they've cut up to. That's where it's supposed to be cut to. But over the right, they still got a fair little old piece to get a hold of and get on out. And they were a little bit late getting down in here to get started in this bottom. I actually was down there doing some bush hogging, and I filmed a video. It was back early September, and they was not down in there. Right in here where all this water, where the cutover is right here, where all this water's standing, that's what they've got left to cut right there. And that's where they were trying to cut when we all got flooded out of all these bottoms back in October. Nobody expected the rain to do what it did this fall. Normally, we're dry all the way through October. No problem. I mean, I've seen it dry all the way up into December before we ever got rain. And usually it's, into November, we start getting a little bit of rain, but when we start really getting wet, it's usually about Thanksgiving week. But, boy, we've been wet for almost the end of this month, because it's 1st of October there, about that first week we got here. I filmed several videos from this green field right here, several bush hogging videos from right there. And so all I'm doing is just looping the drone back and forth all over it. The first battery run on it, the battery was down about 60%. I didn't get to fly very long on the first shot up, but the second shot up, which is right now what we're in, I ended up filming running a drone like 21,000 feet. That's the longest distance that I have flown. I wasn't that far from me. The furthest I got from me was about 1.5 miles when I stretched out. Pretty good little piece, but this drone here has no trouble communicating back to the controller. It's actually got about a 4.3 mile range on it, is what it's got on it. So it'll get on out there. All this right here that we're flying over right now, they still got to cut every bit of this right here. They're still got to give it, and this is where some of the biggest timber is right here in this bottom. There are some humongous pines down in there. I would love to get to cut some of them with a chainsaw. This is where I was when I was filming a video that a shotgun with some number 6 shot would have a hard time reaching a squirrel up in the top. Some of these trees are so tall, but you can see a line right here to the right of those pines right there. That's kind of where the property line runs up. Matter of fact, I'm almost flying over the old road that they used back in the 1800s when there's a church with a Methodist church right straight up ahead of me where I'm flying right now. It's got a campground at it, and they have a week camp meeting every year during the summertime. And this is the old road that they used to access the campground on, and I'm kind of flying directly over right now. There's a creek right here in these woods right here. They had a ford to cross that creek right there. And so there's a lot of history in this area right here. And let me figure out where we're at right now. I'm turning back toward where the beaver, you can see the water picking back up over there now. But I have killed a bunch of deer right back in here over the years. You can see all the water right there. Again, it's a good place close by the house to go and play. Sometimes I'll go over, I'll take Tater with me and just go over and ride the four-wheeler. Used to hunt a lot of coons in here. Me and a good friend of mine had coon dogs, and we would go in there a lot of times during the week, several times during the week, turn the dogs loose. We had some corn buckets out, and because it was close by the house, so we didn't have to go very far. We could go during the summertime, make 2 or 3 trees with the dogs, and be back home, still be before 10 o'clock, maybe before 11 o'clock, something like that, and get back in there. And there are some hogs down here now, too. You can see this that big field up there is straight ahead of me. I've actually filmed a video from spraying Liberty with a auto steer tractor in that field right there. A good friend of mine farms that field right there. So a lot of these places like this right here, y'all have been to them just on the ground. It just looks a lot different than from in the air. But hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving week this week. A lot of people be traveling. Y'all be safe. Hunting season's full swing. When again it's afternoon, and seen some deer this afternoon. Still hadn't shot anything yet. Just kind of biding my time on what's going on. Just basically kind of watching. I'm doing some hunting in a different location this year, a little bit on some spots. So I'm kind of in a learning curve on some stuff like that. But so it'll be interesting to see them come back down in here to work on this, get this wrapped up. So we'll catch y'all later. Later, taters.